It's time now for Upon Further Review, brought to you by Ogeechee Technical College, Education with Purpose, and by Dr. Lincoln Lippincott with the Sleep Apnea Center in Statesboro. And now, here they are, Josh Aubrey and Nate Hirsch.
And we're happy to welcome you into a brand new week of Upon Further Review, along with Josh, part of the Statesboro Herald's online team. This is Nate. We're up top of ERA, Hirsch Real Estate Team. If you are buying or selling real estate, talk to the experts. They're downstairs at ERA, Hirsch Real Estate Team. It is the week after the Masters. How many times did you get to go?
You hear the birds? First time ever, well, except when I was working, that I've been able to go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Went all 5 days. I know that route very well. Tell you where we can eat, tell you where we stop, where the traffic is.
I went to the Augusta Airport again on Tuesday, came back Saturday, and luckily didn't have much traffic. But you were there, and that is all most people are talking about in the sports world, because it appeared with 9 holes to play, Jordan Spieth was on his way to back-to-back Masters championships at the age of 22, and then he came to hole 10, made a bogey, right? Made a bogey at 11.
And the wheels came off.
And you had to ask me on the phone, how could he? I said, I think he went in the water twice.
Okay, here's the thing. Being there is amazing. You know, going there, when I covered it, I thought, you know, I'd almost rather be watching it sometimes on TV. Well, now with HD and everything else, you know, it's such a, but to be there is really cool, but you can't be at every hole. You can't follow the leaders like you can at the Players or at many events. So you go to where you think you can see the most. I like to go where I'm going to see the most chance of birdies, eagles. So we went to 2 to 8 to 13 to 15 because that's the par fives. Right. So you got a chance of seeing some really good shots. And we did see quite a bit. But we were sitting there at 13 and we were waiting for Jordan Spieth, and it looks like, you know, he's got a 5-stroke lead, you know, everything looked good. And actually at that time, I guess he was 5 under and Willett was 2, and he had lost those 2 because he was 7 and Willett was 2. Then went bogey, and we're like, okay, you know, there's not a lot of wind. So 12 is a 150-yard hole. It's easy to say, but there wasn't a lot of wind. And then we heard this weird groan, and we weren't sure if he missed a birdie putt or what. And then the murmurs start coming through the crowd. It's really kind of, you know,
because they don't have
nobody has a phone.
There's no electronic scoreboard there either.
Yes, it's like you're back in the olden days. There's no way to communicate from that hole unless somebody ran, and you can't do that either. So you're really just stuck there looking at the scoreboard, seeing what's going on. All of a sudden, they went from the 5 to the 1, and the gasp, I'm sure, was heard throughout the course, because no one could believe that he made a 7 on a par 3.
And I guess the statistics they showed in the 3 previous rounds, he had made 8 shots. Took him 8 shots to make, I think he had 2 pars and a birdie.
Right.
In the first 3 rounds.
In that 30-minute time period there, he went from first place, clear of anyone, to 3rd, because Westwood had birdied, and I guess 4th, because I think Dustin Johnson had birdied too. Back. And when he came through there, I mean, and I've since went back and watched it, and I still can't believe that second shot, the one from the drop, well, not even from the drop, from 90 yards back where he almost didn't make it to the water. To me, that shot was just, that was Josh. That wasn't Jordan Spieth.
No. So he proved it can happen to a great young player. Now, Danny Willett, who I just happened to mention on this show a couple of weeks ago because he made it to the final groups when they had the match play a couple of weeks ago, and I had to ask Josh, "Who's Danny Willett?" He said, "He's some guy from England."
He's some guy from England.
Well, that's how everybody.
He plays on the European Tour. He was second in the race to Dubai.
He doesn't have a PGA card. He won't play the PGA Tour.
That's right.
So he was a virtual unknown to most people.
He's like Lee Westwood. He's one of Chubby Chandler's guys, who's a big agent.
Yeah, we saw him.
Literally a big
chubby.
agent. And they play on the European Tour.
Right.
You know, a lot of those guys, Ian Poulter, Justin Rose, they've kind of migrated over and played on the PGA Tour. Found there's a little more money. No taxes in Florida. They live over there in Orlando, and that's what they do. But, you know, some of those guys stay over there, and you don't really know about them until something like this. And, you know, I didn't, the one question I was really mad, Dottie Pepper had him in there, and I wanted them to ask, when you looked up there, what were you thinking? You look up to the scoreboard and you saw Jordan go from 5 to 1. What was going through your head? No one asked him that question.
And you got to remember, though, he was 4 holes ahead in the groupings. So he was almost finished. He was just playing very casual.
Yeah.
Made a couple of birdies at the end.
I think he was on 15 or
16.
I think he was on 15 when the groan came out. Okay. The score probably went up right there, and then he birdied 16.
That's what I'm saying, right. So he was playing nice and relaxed. So he's the great story. New father from last week also. But what about Jordan Spieth now? Okay. He even admitted it's going to take him a while to get over this.
Well, here's what I was thinking. You know, he had his A game on Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday he got by with a C or a D. He got on Friday through 9, he was 8 under par. Think about that, because he kept leaking oil on the back every day, but he was able to compose it enough.
And so was everybody else falling apart.
And he was able to hold it together enough to get by. You know, we talked to his mom. Don't mean to name drop, but we've been able to meet his mother and his grandfather and gotten to know their family a little bit. They have a special needs child. Kyler loves Jordan Spieth, so we've gotten a chance to talk to them a bunch. And they told us, no one else knows this, but Jordan's taken 4 weeks off. He is just so drained right now. He won't play again till the Players. Now, I don't know if that's become knowledge yet, but that's what they said.
It's on our show. It's knowledgeable.
Well, breaking news here.
It's on YouTube and Facebook now, too, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, the trains have passed. Quick reminder. When you need legal advice in the Statesboro, Bullitt County area, we have the man for you to call on. That is Lovett Bennett Jr., attorney at law, PC. Lovett's office located in downtown Statesboro. So I was worried about Jordan Spieth, just to finish up here on Jordan and the Masters, but because he had played all those tournaments so much earlier in the year. Just had the story in Sports Illustrated. What kind of shape was he in when he came back and played down at Austin, Texas? Yeah, obviously the match play.
And that's down by his hometown.
Right, he got knocked out there. The other story, though, that certainly, and it'll play itself out this week, as we tape our show, the Golden State Warriors have won 72 games with 1 game left in the regular season before the playoffs, and they have a chance to have the most wins in the history of the NBA. They have now tied the Chicago Bulls. I guess the question, though, becomes, if they don't win the whole thing, though, this year?
Nate, you're talking to a person who follows what NFL team?
Okay, yes, it happened,
okay.
Right?
So the big question was, do you rest your players down the stretch? I'm talking about the New England Patriots when they were undefeated and they had it locked up and they wanted to go for the record, and then they didn't win at all. And when you bring up the greatest teams of all times, a lot of times that Patriots team doesn't get mentioned, even though they were this close.
Right.
They were
and your buddy Eli
a helmet catch away.
Right. I guess you would look at the Seattle Mariners. They were pointing out from 2001, where they won 116.
So you forget that, don't
regular
you?
Season games, the most anybody's ever won in baseball, and they got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs.
I don't think they'll do that, but they do play in the West, and anything can happen. But they've played so well at home. Home court matters. And speaking of home, they beat San Antonio. That was huge, I think, for them psyche-wise, because they How long had it been,
I
Nate?
didn't realize 33. And you play 2
33.
times a year. That's a lot of years. I mean, that's 16,
11,
16 and years plus this one they'd lost earlier this year.
And San Antonio was undefeated at home going into that
That's
game.
right, so they snapped that also. All right, we got a lot more to cover. We're back in a moment on Upon Further Review.
Franklin Toyota is the only family-owned and operated dealership in Bullitt County. We work hard to give our customers award-winning vehicles with homegrown customer service. Experience the Franklin family difference today.
Find it at Franklin Toyota in Statesboro.
Dr. Sergio Dalsenia of Family Internal Medicine reminds you that Kathy Shriver, who specializes in diabetes education and consultations, is now exclusive to Family Internal Medicine. Call for an appointment. Their office located in the Cotton Ridge Plaza on Fair Road.
The Big Percent event is here at Franklin Toyota. Get our biggest discounts of the year on hundreds of new Toyotas.
Get 0 APR, 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days on new Toyotas.
Find it at franklintoyota.com and Franklin Toyota in Statesboro.
Well, we're going to take a look at some Georgia Southern baseball and softball, but first, a reminder from our friends at the University Store.
Look at
Your
that. It's
baseball
pretty cool.
shirt.
Yeah, that's
You like that one, don't you?
That's kind of neat. Yeah, I like
know.
that.
That's a small, a little bit even small for you.
I don't think I could fit in that, Nate.
All right, well, I got another Georgia Southern baseball shirt. Some of these items also available at the games, but you can pick them up any day at the University Store. All right, the baseball Eagles were home this weekend with the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns, and the Georgia Southern women's softball had their alumni weekend as they hosted Appalachian State. Got a little highlights, right?
We do. We have some highlights from the baseball series, 3 games with Lafayette, and a little softball to go along with it. Georgia Southern in the first of 3 with Lafayette. We pick up things in game 1. Runner on first, Brad Anchek sends one to left. The double going to plate the first run of the game. And it's 1-0 Ragin' Cajuns. Georgia Southern pitcher Evan Challenger would settle down, picking up the strikeout later in the frame. The Eagle bats being kept quiet thanks to Lafayette pitcher Gunnar Legger. He gets the inning-ending strikeout here in the third. The Cajuns are adding to their lead, going up 2-0 in the fifth. Ishmael Edwards with the single. Nick Thurman scores, but in the bottom half of the inning, the Eagles will get on the board. A couple on. Will Hudgens lines it up the middle. The pitcher gets a glove on it. Hudgens thrown out, but the fielder's choice plates a run. 2-1. Georgia Southern ties things up moments later. On the wild pitch, Kent Rollins comes home, and it's 2-2. This one would end up going to extra innings. And unfortunately, the Ragin' Cajuns would score 4 in the 10th to take this one by a final count of 6-2. So to Saturday we go. Lafayette up 1-0, but the Eagles tie it up in the bottom of the first. Ryan Cleveland, the RBI single to center. Logan Baldwin scores, and it's 1-1. To the fifth we go, trailing 2-1, 2 on for Cal Baker, who singles into left. Jordan Wren and C.J. Brazel both score. The Eagles take a 3-2 lead. In the sixth, the runner on third. The Cajuns try the squeeze, but check out the play by Chase Cohen on the mound to get the runner at home. Nice tag. Connor Simmons in relief, and he'd go a strong 3 innings, striking out 4 in the process. We move to the top of the ninth. Runner on third, infield in, and the grounder to second. Cal Baker comes up firing. C.J. Brazel applies the tag, and the Eagles win a wild one, 3-2. We move to the rubber match on Sunday. The Eagles in an early hole, trailing 2-1. Brian Mills takes this one up and away. The 2-run shot would help them out to a 6-1 lead, but this one far from over. In the fourth, with the score 6-3, C.J. Brazel, the RBI single to left. Hunter Thomas scores, and it's 6-4. Next, it's Jordan Wren. He drives this pitch to the wall. Brazel will come in to score, and it's a 1-run game at 6-5 Lafayette. To the sixth we go. Bases loaded, down 7-5, and Ryan Cleveland singles to left. Jordan Wren scores. Cal Baker will slide home, head first, safe as well, and we're tied at 7-all. Still in the 6th, and Hunter Thomas, the batter, he singles to right center. Logan Baldwin home. Cleveland comes in as well, and it's 9-7 Georgia Southern. But the big blow coming in the 8th, Brian Mills again, and with the bases loaded, he pokes this one over the fence and left. The grand slam, and Lafayette wins another wild one, this one by a final of 13-9. The Georgia Southern softball team hosting Appalachian State in the first 2-on, and Morgan Robinson with the bomb to center field. 3-0 Georgia Southern on top. In the 3rd, with 1 on, Jenny Dodd will yank this one into left for a 2-run shot. Meanwhile, on the mound, Dixie Rayleigh with the strikeout to end the inning. Georgia Southern wins 6-2 and will go on to sweep the series, taking 3 games from Appalachian State. All right, well, the women's softball, there's no men's, softball ended up sweeping App State, doing pretty well right now, 3rd place in the conference.
Yep.
And this is a conference that is, I think, 3rd or 4th RPI.
One of the strongest in the country. All right. And
then baseball, Georgia Southern will travel to UT Arlington, but they have a Mercer
Tuesday.
So we have Jackson Ware sighting. He
That's
should
right.
be in town for that.
He should be there.
Statesboro's own.
Right. Softball's going to be home Wednesday with Kennesaw, and then they'll be home with South Alabama Saturday and Sunday. Baseball last week won the midweek games. They went over to Charleston, outscored them on Tuesday.
Pounded Savannah State.
Beat Savannah State. So they did end up winning 3 and losing 2. They're 7-8 in conference play, in the middle of the pack, and they're a kind of bunch right now. Got to remember, baseball takes the top 8. Conference tournament will be at Texas State, and right now they are at the halfway point.
Enjoy that, Nate. Bring a camera with you, because
yes,
a little far away from
5 weeks into the conference season, they've had trouble winning at home.
Yeah, you'd think
Anyway,
home sweet home, but it's been what? They've lost 5 out of 6?
2 out of 3 this week, and all 3 to Texas State. That's 5 out of 6, and they've lost 2 out of 3 to Arkansas State.
That's true, too.
Not good. All right. High school baseball will kind of summarize where things are. That's next on Upon Further Review.
Do you ever wonder what that 15% savings cost you in service?
What's the name on the account?
My name is Mary, M-A-R-Y.
Who is it?
Mary.
Oh,
My
okay.
name is Mary.
Right.
Are you even listening to me?
Sure.
At Glenn Davis Insurance, we get to know you as a person. To us, you're not just another number. Together with Auto Owners Insurance, we can develop an insurance plan tailored to your specific needs. Glenn Davis and Associates. Call or come by today.
The Medical Center Pharmacy on Grenade Street is proud to be your Health Mart pharmacy in Statesboro. The Medical Center Pharmacy, locally owned and serving this community for 50 years, is open 364 days a year. The pharmacists at Medical Center know there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. That's why they take the time to know their customers, explain their medications, and answer any questions. The Medical Center Pharmacy, your Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, caring for you and about you. And it's time now for our high school segment. It's presented by Ogeechee Technical College. We'll run down this week's action, what's upcoming, and set the scene. I guess Statesboro already in the region playoffs this week.
Yep.
We'll do that after we take a look at this from OTC.
I'm Brian Reliza.
My name is Michaela Graham.
And I'm an echocardiography graduate.
I'm studying to be a veterinary technician.
And I am OTC.
And I am OTC.
We believe every path is different and every student is unique. Whether you're interested in dual enrollment and associate degree or earning credit toward a higher degree, a diploma, or certificate, Ogeechee Tech can help you build a strong foundation for your future. Visit ogeecheetech.edu to find out how you can go anywhere from here.
Well, Josh, after another busy week of action last week, some of the teams are pretty busy this week. What we were trying to check on, we finalized before the show, Statesboro begins the region playoffs, where now you got to play on the teams from the other side.
They were the 4 seed. They're taking on the number 1 seed, which is Ware County. I don't really think that there's a team that's in this that they can't beat.
Right.
But they've proven that they've had some issues from time to time as well. So they go to Ware County for a doubleheader Thursday, and then if they split,
Right.
they'll play on Friday. I don't know if they'll spend the night or what they'll do. But other games, we have Johnson at Southeast Bullock on Tuesday. Southeast Bullock's at Savannah Christian on Monday. You have BA at Brentwood on Tuesday. Glasscock County coming to Portal. I think that's their last game of the season, regular season, at home on Tuesday. Then Pinewood at BA on Thursday. Portal at Savannah Country Day. Statesboro, we've mentioned that will be the if game if they play on Friday.
And then Southeast Bullock. This
Region
weekend
crossover
also.
would be Saturday. That's right.
they've
Looks
got-
like they'll be the 1 seed on their sub-region. I don't know if it's 1-4. I think that's usually the
that's
way they
usually
do
how it's
things.
done, right? Yeah.
But that 4 seed on the other side is usually pretty tough.
But Southeast Bullock has done what you'd hope they would do. They've beaten the teams that they're capable of beating, and actually it's come in the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season here, so they're actually on and up.
Very much so. I mean,
Yeah.
they were on a 7 or 8 game win streak at one point. So yes.
All right. We will come back. We got some comments from Tyson Summers out at Georgia Southern football practice. That and more in a moment on Upon Further Review.
The Big Percent event is here at Franklin Toyota. Get our biggest discounts of the year on hundreds of new Toyotas.
Get 0 APR, 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days on new Toyotas.
Find it at franklintoyota.com and Franklin Toyota in Statesboro.
Tired of being tired? Do you start and end the day completely worn out? You may have obstructive sleep apnea. Dr. Lippincott at the Sleep Apnea Center in Statesboro can give you an evaluation and explain the new non-invasive procedure that has helped so many in our area. Call for an appointment or be on the lookout for one of our free seminars. The Sleep Apnea Center in Statesboro, part of Statesboro ENT, 120 South Zetterauer Avenue. Well, practice continuing for the Georgia Southern Football Eagles. Spring game coming up Saturday at high noon. We got some comments, though, coming up first from the coach.
That's right. Coach is talking about how he feels practice is going to this stage. Was a little frustrated this past week. Here's some of his comments.
Well, it's like anything else. We're trying to make sure that we're doing the right things, and we have. I think we've done a better job the last 3 or 4 practices of being more physical and being tougher and trying to be more mentally sharp. We took a day today where we took off and tried to make it more of a mental day than anything else. And what we don't want to do is when we do that also wind up looking up and losing our pace, losing our tempo, and I thought we had done that for a period or 2. And so we were trying to get it back right. We spent a large part of the first hour of practice making corrections for things and making it more of a walkthrough, a teach. And we've done a lot of that in pre-practice. We've done a lot of that at other times. We haven't necessarily done it during a practice. So that was the first time. So once we left kind of those periods of corrections and teach, we didn't have the tempo that we needed to have. From an offensive standpoint, we didn't have the tempo we needed to have from a defensive standpoint. We weren't flying around, and so what we wound up doing was trying to gear it up for them a little bit and get them back on the right page. I think we did that, and I think we finished the last 3 or 4 periods closer to what we needed to be. We need to continue to do a better job with our communication pre-snap on both sides of the ball, but details of our assignment across the board. I think the thing that we'd like to see, and I could tell you probably a little bit better here in another week or 2, but I think the thing that all those teams and this one has right now is they've got good leadership. They've got guys that try to do the right thing. They've got guys that want to compete. They got guys that want to buy in. You're not having to create a new culture. And when you talk about those bowl teams that we had and the championship teams, it really came down to character and culture more than anything else. And I do think we got guys with a lot of character that are bringing that out, and some of the guys that need a little bit more of it. And that's what you want. And that's what leadership is.
Well, Nate, the big question that a lot of people are wondering is, are they going to play the game at Statesboro High like they had announced, or are they going to try to play it at Paulson? We got word that it's going to happen on Wednesday afternoon, that they'll send out a release of whether it's going to be. They have to do the walkthrough with the people from the turf company to see if it's okay to play. I think they'd really like to do that, but I guess we have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, again, I was out there 2 weeks ago and just to look around, and they have made tremendous progress.
Without a doubt.
So basically the project is finished, but, that's a big but, they got to walk through to make sure everything is in perfect shape. You don't want to play a game on it till it's 100%.
That's right, because if it's got to settle or whatever,
right,
and you go to make a cut and somebody blows a knee out, I think that would be a pretty bad thing.
So anyways, but it is a noon kickoff for the spring game. The EFAA has their function at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Tickets still available, and that's going to be held for this year for the first time at Ogeechee Tech. All right. By the way, the men's golf is playing up in Wofford's Coca-Cola Invitational, the Sun Belt Championships on the 24th. The women's golf program will be in the Sun Belt Championships next week for the first time, starting on the 17th. We'll come back and wrap things up in just a moment on Upon Further Review.
We know how important your family is to you, which is why family medicine is so important to us. At TRICARE Family Medicine, we'll see that your family is in the best possible health. We offer a fun and friendly environment and are now accepting new pediatric and adult patients. Come experience the difference today. Let our family take care of your family at TRICARE Family Medicine, the official family practice of Georgia Southern Athletics.
Franklin Toyota is the only family-owned and operated dealership in Bullitt County. We work hard to give our customers award-winning vehicles with homegrown customer service. Experience the Franklin family difference today.
Find it at Franklin Toyota in Statesboro.
Well, coming up, I guess now it is less than a month away to the start of the inaugural season. As I was talking with Darren Van Tassel, the co-owner of the Tormenta FC team that's getting ready to play. We'll have our own professional soccer team, and I was telling him, I wanted to promote certainly the players. Well, they're all not here yet because a lot of them are college players.
That's right.
They have to wait till college is out. But he told me that season tickets are going well. They already over 600. The place only seats 5 now. It's going to.
Where can we buy those tickets, Nate?
It's going to, but you can't. It's going to. He hopefully will have it set up where they can squeeze in 2,000 people. So
I hope that they have to squeeze in 2,000. That would be a great thing.
Anyway, it is coming up soon. We'll be talking more about that as the Tormenta FC. I guess you can go to their site and they've got all the info.
Drop by the Visitors Bureau. I'm sure they have information there as well.
They do. All right. All right, we'll have a lot to cover. We'll see you next time on Upon Further Review.
Join us again next time for Upon Further Review, brought to you in part by Ogeechee Technical College, Education with Purpose, and by Dr. Lincoln Lippincott with the Sleep Apnea Center in Statesboro.